Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Let's do a sound check. Hey, hello, I'm fine. And what about you? Please don't forget about the chat section here. So we'll start nearly in 10-15 minutes. So let's wait for our participants and we will start. This webinar will be much shorter than the previous one. So the previous one was the longest one because we were discussing the analytics and part of the configuration and the client. So this one will be shorter, I think about 1 hour. So I will disable my microphone for a while. So see you in about 10 minutes. So once again, hello everybody. I just sent a link for the two previous webinars in the chat section, so you can find the links there. So we are going to start, I think, just in a couple of minutes. I can see that you have already sent a couple of questions. So I think bosses to answer the questions. So that once again, let's check the sound. Do you hear me? So is everything okay? Okay, nice. I noticed that there was some kind of problem in the chat, so it was, I think, cleared. So have you copied the link for the webinars, the previous webinars? Okay, so I think that I will send it once again if you need that. So um, don't worry about that. So it's no problem. I think we will also send you all the links after all the webinars via email. So in Friday, when there will be the last webinar, you will receive the link for all 4 webinars. So you'll be able to watch them afterwards too. Okay, so once again, you see that the presenter here is Igor Sumin, but that's not my name. That's the name of the head of the marketing team. So my name is Ilya, pre-sale engineer, and today we are going to discuss several modules. So today we will only discuss several modules and answering the questions. There was a question in the chat about the H.265 and about the efficiency on the storage and CPU load. I want to just say a couple of words about that. So H.265 is really the most efficient codec for storage, but for analytics right now in Eocortex, it's not the most efficient module. That's why I recommend you to use H.265 for storage. For example, if you have a camera with a high resolution, like 4 megapixel or even more, and you have a small analytic module like tracking. In this way, I recommend you to use the main stream for recording and the alternate stream for the analysis. So for analysis, H.264 right now is the most efficient codec. So I recommend you to use this one. So let's start. I will start the screen sharing right now. So can you see the screen right now? Okay, nice. Let's discuss the modules and start today with the, let's start with the small modules like Sabotage Detection. So Sabotage Module is the pretty simple one. So it uses the motion detector to detect the disposal of the camera, the coverage, or also if the camera is being overlightened. So you can see right now the camera will overload right now, and we will see how the module works. So this module allows us to get an immediate notification if something went wrong with the camera. So while the camera is rebooting, let's go to Event Journal. So we have already discussed this option earlier. Let's sort the cameras only for this camera. Okay, and here we can see the event Sabotage Detected. So if we click on it, we see that in this moment there was a sabotage event. So the camera was overlightened. So we can also check another moment when the camera was turned away. So this is the way how we can see the event in the journal. Also in the left upper corner, we can see the message, Sabotage Detected. And if we need, we can also create the immediate notification for this module. So let's open the configurator. Here you may notice that there are no any settings for the Sabotage module because it's really pretty simple. So we just enable the motion detector, select the motion Sabotage Detector module, and if we need, we can also create automatic action for this event. So for example, go to Automation, select this module, Sabotage, Task by Event, and here we'll be able to select the event for Sabotage. Let me find it right now. Yes, video surveillance sabotage. So we select it and can set different notifications for that. For example, by using the push notification, messenger, or something like that. So so we can immediately understand if something is wrong with our cameras. I will be checking the chat during this presentation. So to check if you have any questions during it. So about the recordings in the downloadable way, they will be also sent. I will say about that to the marketing team. So I think they will be also sent via email. So let's get back to the presentation and go to the next module. So the next module is abandoned object detection. So by using this module, we can detect the moments when the object is being left. So we can get the notification in the application. So the left object will be marked by the red boundaries. And also we will get this notification in the journal. So let's select this module. And here, by clicking it, we can see the preview of these images. For example, right now, the module detected this luggage that is being left. So we can see these moments in the journal, and also we can set the notification if the software detected this moment. So let's go to the settings for this module. So we select the camera. Enable the motion detector, and then select this module. So here we have several settings like detection time. So we can set the time for the object that the module will be waiting while this object is left, and after that it will create an alarm. So for the higher accuracy, it's better to set it more than 30 seconds. So for example, a couple of minutes. So it will be better to receive less false alarms. Then we can also configure the minimal and the maximal size of abandoned object. So it's pretty simple. We just change the size for that, and that's all. Then we set the detection zone. You can see here that the detection zone is marked with the blue color. We can clear everything and then use our mouse to draw this detection zone. So for example, if we know that there are some areas when there is a very intensive movement, then we can just exclude them and get less false alarms. Also, we can set here the sensitivity for the module. So I usually recommend to configure this option just manually. So you configure it as medium, then test the module for a while if there are any false detection, or if the module is skipping some detections. So, and in this way, you can raise or reduce the sensitivity. So right now you can see how we can see the boundaries, and if we click on them, we can hide them. Let's go to the next module, fire detection. So fire detection module is showing us the possibility of two events, so the smoke and the fire. The module is analyzing the movement of pixels of a specific color. So for the fire, it will be orange and red. For the smoke, that will be black, gray, and white pixels. So that means that this module is being used for the regular cameras, not the thermal one, because as you know, the thermal cameras have different color, so only about gray, white, and black usually. So this is more for the regular cameras. So you can see right now how it works in the real time. And if we go to the event journal, we can see that events. So for example, here, fire detected. if we double click on it, we can see that moment in the archive, and also some detections were for the smoke. So also we can receive these notifications, so see the events afterwards in the journal, and also if we need, we can configure notifications. As for the configuration for this module, it's also pretty simple. So let's select Fire, and here we can enable the module and select what do we want to detect. So only smoke, only fire, or both smoke and fire. This module is pretty required for the CPU and RAM, and it's still not so accurate as the real firing sensors or smoke sensors. And this module is more recommended for the areas and for the sites where you can't use your existing firing system. So, for example, if your location is located outdoors, so for example, parks, forests, and something like that, and you just can't physically put their firing sensors. In this case, I can recommend you the fire and smoke detection module. So let's go forward to the next module. The next module is hard-hat detection. So this module is showing us if the person was detected without a helmet. So this module is really accurate because it's not showing the false alarms. So the module is showing the detection if it's absolutely sure about that. And the module is working on neural network. So in real time, we see the immediate notification with the boundaries that there is no hard hat. And also we can see these events in the journal. So here we can click and see in the archive that this person is really not wearing a hard hat. So as for another modules, of course, we can configure the real-time notification. If somebody without helmet was detected, then we receive a notification. Let's go for the configuration of this module. So here we configure the minimum and the maximum size of a person, and also the detection area, detection zone. As for the requirements for the camera for this module, so basically it's a usual video surveillance camera, so the resolution for the analysis is about 1 megapixel, and as for the image quality, it's really important to have the sharp contrast image with the constant lighting, and it's very important to have the not very wide angle for the camera, because if the position of the person in the frame will be just angled, so if we are using the wide angle on the camera, then the accuracy will be lower than if we are using the regular angle of the lens. Then the next module. Let's check the let's check the most interesting. Now, first, let's discuss the accounting in the queue module. So basically, this module is being used for retail, but also there are some situations when this module will be really interesting. So this module is also using the neural network, and here we can set the zone that will be used for counting, and the module is checking how many people are inside this zone, and we can configure the allowed number of people inside this zone and the number that will generate an alarm. So right now we can see the number of people here and the name of this zone, and also we can see the events afterwards. So let's select the queue module. And here we can see that if the number of people inside this zone is too big, then we receive the notification. So we can go to archive and see that moment. And if we need, we can configure the notification. Let's go to settings and then take a pause and go to the questions that you sent. So here we can draw several zones for the same camera. For example, I can add a zone, configure it this way. So this zone will be scanned. And here we can set the maximum permissible number of people in this queue. So right now it's 3. And other settings are available, like sensitivity and also averaging of results. So here we can select different values for these averaging. So if right now I set it for minimum, so just disabled, that's why the accuracy of this module is not so high, but we can see the change of the number in real time. So we see that there was a movement, someone entered there, and we can see the immediate change of the number. If we need, we can configure the pause, for example, 15 seconds. In this case, the accuracy will be higher, so the chance of the false alarm will be minimal. As for the requirements for this module, we can use the just regular surveillance cameras. The resolution for this module is 1 megapixel and higher. Another important moment that it's really important to have the position of the camera when one person is not covering another one. So it's really important to see all the people standing in the line. So right now, this position of the camera, it's appropriate, but it's not the best. So I recommend to use the cameras that will be placed, for example, in this area. So the camera will be placed on another side, so we can see all the visitors in the line. So that will be better for the accuracy. Also, if we need for some tasks, we can not count only people in the queue, we can just count people in the zone. So for example, for some situations when we need to count people, for example, in the shop, and we need to understand that there are not too many people in one corner of the shop, and the distance between the people is about 1.5 meters, for example, we can use this module, so we can create different zones and count people there, and if the number of people is more than 1, for example, we can also get the notification about that. Now I will take a pause and check your questions. So the first question was about day and daylight fire. So the module is checking the combination of pixels, as I said. So in some situations, it's not very often, but still, it can detect, for example, the reflection from the sun on some surfaces as a fire. So in this case, it's better to exclude these areas from the detection, for example, by changing the zone for the detection for the motion detector, or if it's possible, it's better to exclude these areas by covering, for example, these surfaces that are reflecting the sun, or change the position of the camera. The next question is, in one camera, how many modules can be enabled? So that's a good question, but it's not about the quantity of modules. It's more about the types of modules, because some modules, they can't be used together. For example, license plate recognition and facial recognition, they can't be used together because of their algorithms of the software are working this way. When you will try to enable these two modules at the same time, you will get an alarm. So that's the first thing. Also, some modules have absolutely different requirements about the image. So that's why you will also won't be able to use these modules with the high accuracy. For example, the people counting module, when the camera is placed strictly vertically, and for example, counting in the Q module, where we see totally different camera position. In this way, theoretically, you can use two modules at the same time, but the accuracy will be so low that it won't be just useful in that case. Is there any dependency module to enable to work hard head detection? Unfortunately, I didn't get that question. Can you give more details? What do you mean by that? Next, how many zones for single camera? So for the people counting in the queue, let's check it right now. So yeah, it's 6. So you were right. Next question. Can we enable sabotage fire abandoned object in one camera? I think yes, these 3 modules we can enable at the same time. Let's do an experiment right now. So for example, select the sabotage module, enable also the Smoke&Fire and abandoned object detection at the same time. And if we check, right now, you may notice that there was there was an alarm, but it wasn't about the simultaneously usage of several modules. It was about the settings of the module. So we can see here that now I configured the module, and these three modules can work at the same time on one camera. So yeah, that's possible. Okay, next question. So right now we don't have more questions, so let's continue the demonstration. I still have two modules to show you, and I think they are the most interesting modules that we have right now. So that's the facial recognition module and also the unique visitor counting module. So right here, we can see just the view of the camera, and in the right, we can see the list of detected people. So right here, we can see just the people that were detected. And if the person that was detected is from the database, so you added him, for example, right here, we can see also not the time of the detection, but also we can see the name of this person, the group color. So I configured the group color as yellow, so we can see it. And also you can see here the percentage. So this module, right now we're discussing the facial recognition complete. It's working with the neural network. It's working on the GPU to work more efficiently. And this module is it's able to show us the percentage of the match between the face from the database, so the photo from the database, and the face that was detected. Also, as this module is using the neural network, we can also see some approximate statistics about the person that was detected, like gender and age. So, for example, if we point our mouse on this person, we can see that that's female and the age is 27. Also from here, we can select the face, and here we have two buttons. So the first one is Add to Database. So here we can use this face as a face that will be in the database, and put some info like name, last name, and so on. When we are adding the face to the database, we can change the area where the face is placed. Right here, we now see that the face is found, but we may also notice that in some situations, the suggested detected face, it's not really great to use it for the database. And for most situations, I even recommend you to use not the detected face from the camera, but the face that was the picture that was taken by the photo camera or the good camera of the phone, and so on. So here we can add a face to the database and go also to the report. So for this module, we have a report function also. And in this report, we will see the detected face, date, time, the name of the camera, if the person is in the database, also the group name, name of this person, and so on. Then gender, age, and so on. Let's find one of the, for example, Helen from the database. So here we can see that the group name is staff, the name is Helen, the accuracy, and we can put some additional info if we need. Then we can also from here add the person to the database, add a photo, to this, let's say, account. And here we also can use a very interesting function, the search by the face. So we can search for a person from the database. For example, search for all people from whitelist or staff. Let's refresh. So in this case, it will work like a filter for the search. We just find all the moments when people that are added to the database were detected. So we can see now when they were detected for the different time and so on. We can filter this by the time and then also export this report. And also, we cannot just use the search between the faces from the database. We can use the face, for example, of this Mr. The filter for the search, and find all the moments when this exact person was detected. So you may notice that we have lots of results for the different time. So when he was detected, and also if we need, we can use not just the photo from this camera, we can upload our own photo right here. So we use a photo from our computer, from your USB stick and so on. So you can upload here a photo from Instagram, Facebook, and so on. And that can be useful and very important. For example, if there was a crime and the person that is suspicious and the police think that he committed this crime, he says that he wasn't visiting this site for that time, and we need to check that. In this case, we just upload his photo here and check if he was detected during this time on this site. And we can see if he was detected, and that's why that will be proof for that, for his words. Yeah, that's one of the ways how we can use that module. Then I want to discuss with you the database images that's better to use here. So we can go to the database from here, for example, additional face database. And here we can see the samples that were added to the database. So let's discuss some of these samples. For example, this photo about the camera position is pretty okay. So it's not really disposal. The lighting quality is pretty okay, but you can see that the image is not very sharp. So it's not a very bad photo, but still not the best. If we take a look here, you can see that this photo was taken by the extra camera. This is the perfect photo example for the module because the position of the camera is good. The lighting conditions are okay, and the resolution of the picture. Let's also check a couple of other good examples. For example, yeah, that's me. Another good picture, not because I'm pretty looking, but because the position of the face in the frame is really very good. Another picture of the sales manager, Vlad. So that's why I recommend you for this module, when you are, for example, collecting the photo for the access control, it's better to do a small photo session to take a good photos, or, for example, ask your employees to send you good quality photos for that. So it can be also selfies, but will be better than the photos that detected from the camera. And also, you may notice here that you can add several photos to one person, but it's better to have only one, but with the good quality. Next, let's now discuss the settings of the facial recognition module and also the image quality and the camera position. So let's select this camera. Facial recognition complete. Here, the settings are pretty simple, so we can configure the minimum and the maximum size of the face. Also here you can see the minimum recognition positiveness. So as I said, that's the percentage of the match between the detected photo, detected face, and the face from the database. So if the module is sure about the right match on the, for example, 75%, then with these settings, this face will be skipped because the module isn't sure enough that this is Jon Snow, for example. If we need, we can reduce this percentage. For example, if the module is not really working great and it's not detecting some faces, and the opposite option, for example, if we need to be absolutely sure that this is the right person, we can configure it as 95%, and only if the module is absolutely sure, this detection will be shown as a match. So this is the exact person from the database. Next, detection sensitivity. So that's the sensitivity of the module. Usually I recommend you to set it as medium. It will give you the optimal load on the components like CPU, GPU, and RAM, because this module is working mostly on GPU, but still it uses some resources from CPU as well. If you see that some of the faces are not being detected, then you can raise the accuracy, and if you need to reduce some load, then you can also try to set as low or minimum. Then limit time for repeated recognitions. So for some situations when the camera is placed at the entrance and the person is standing in front of the camera for a while, so he's standing there, then this person can be detected once again and, for example, trigger the access control system or can be counted. So in this case, it's better to set this timeout between the repeat recognition. So if you need that, you can configure it here. The detection zone. So here we can change the detection zone. It's important, for example, if we have an access control system and we need to detect face and recognize them only in a specific area, then you can exclude some areas. And also, if we need, we can exclude some specific areas, for example, that are creating false alarms, if there is a TV with the faces and so on, because this module is universal for the cameras, as most of our modules. So it's not limited about the only 3D cameras and so on. That's why it can detect in some cases faces from the photos and so on. It's not always, but still there are some cases. That's why it's better to use the cameras with the higher image quality. That's why it can you can see the difference between the real face and the photo on the screen or printed one and so on. But yeah, there is a chance, a small one, to trigger the facial recognition with just a photo. So that's true. You have to know that, but that's true for most of the facial recognition that we have, not only for the video surveillance system, but also for the mobile phones without 3D sensors and so on. So that's it. The last option about the facial recognition that I wanted to show you, the database options. So we have the local and remote options. So for the local, you can store just separate databases for each site. For example, if you have a multi-server configuration and for on each server you have several cameras with the facial recognition modules. In this case, with the local database, you will have to put new faces for each server. With the remote one, you can, first of all, you need to have installed facial recognition module for these two servers or more. For the main one that will be storing the database and another server that will be using this database. And in this case, you will have a common database for all the faces, and you'll be able to add faces from one site and have them on all the sites. Now I will just take a small pause to answer your questions, and then I will show you just a small demo of the last module. Are there any reading modules so the camera can read number and letters from the vehicles? I think that Dale haven't visited our previous webinar because previously we discussed the license plate recognition module where you can also recognize the symbols from the license plates. Right now, we don't have another modules for reading like QR codes or some reading symbols from the containers and so on. But once again, if you have a huge project when you need that functionality, that can be discussed as a development for your project. As you don't have right now more questions, let's go to the last module that is also using the facial recognition engine, but it allows us to get another type of metadata. So let's go to reports once again, but select another module, unique visitor counting. So here we can change the time for the report, plotting step, and let's build a report and you will see what it gives to us. So this module is using the facial recognition engine. It counts the facial detection events. So we can see the number of visitors, and also this module can check if this person was detected for the first time or he was detected before. So we can understand if this person is a unique visitor or he is just a usual visitor. So here we can see the total quantity of visitors, so about 3,500, and unique visitors, so about 3,500. Also, we can see the statistics for every hour. So during this hour, we had 141 total visitors and also 127 unique visitors. So we can see that statistics for every hour. Also, we can see the statistics for the percentage with the age groups. So right here, and also for the genders. If we need, we can create some exclusions, like exclude some groups from the county. You have seen that I added some employees to the group staff. So we can exclude them from the counting. So the staff of this shop, for example, won't be counted as visitors. So that's very important because it's raising the accuracy for the marketing team. Also, if it's required, we can create some exclusions for the age groups, not to count some age groups, or we can exclude one of the genders if it's important. So in this case, we can receive the report from this module, a unique visitor counting. We can export it and send it to the marketing team. So they can understand better what is the number of visitors of this site during the day and analyze how to perform some advertisement maybe or some other events to invite more customers. So as for the settings for this module, their settings are absolutely the same as for the facial recognition module, complete one. Another important moment that I wanted to tell you about the facial recognition modules. Here you may notice that there are actually 4 modules that are working with the facial recognition module. So what are the, first of all, requirements for the module? So as for the requirements, the first requirement is the image quality. So we need to have the well illuminated contrast image of the face with the high resolution. So the recommendation about the size of the face is the distance between the eyes. So the distance between the eyes has to be more than 60 pixels. So usually this module is being used with the resolution about 1 or 2 megapixel. So 2 megapixel is usually absolutely okay for this module. So if you will have the 8 megapixel camera, it will just increase the load on the server, but the accuracy won't be better. So it's the best way is to use the medium resolution, about 2 megapixel. Next, another important moment about this module is the camera position. So if you put the camera too high, then you won't see the actually the face, because the position of the face in the frame will be not really good. We can see it in some photos, like let's check it. So it's better to put the camera exactly in the front of the face to get the better position to see the eyes, nose, mouth with the good lighting and so on. So in some cases, for example, if the person is looking on the floor, for example, in this case, he won't be recognized because the position of the face is not really good. This camera has the optimal position. That's why the number of the really not very good examples is pretty low. But for example, here, if the angle will be higher, so for example, this gentleman will be watching at the floor, then the recognition will be with the lower accuracy. So as I said, the first one is the image quality. The second one is the camera position. So that's 2 important moments about the requirements. Next, what are the difference between these 4 modules? First of all, as I said, we had a let's say old module called basic. It the separate license for its work, and it was working without a neural network on the CPU. That's why it was not a bad module, but we tried our best and developed it a lot. So now the engine is absolutely different. It's working on the neural network, and we have these three modules: light, complete, and unique visitor counting. So the light module, we can open the settings and see that they are pretty the same. This module is working on the CPU. So if in some cases you don't have a GPU for the analytics, we can use this module with the CPU. But this module don't show you the age, the gender statistics, and also it doesn't have the search function. So for example, this module can be used for the access control. When you just put the faces in the database, you want to have the notifications, and you want to trigger the output port of the camera to unlock the door, or send this event to another system like Honeywell to unlock the door, but not more. If we're speaking about the complete and unique visitor counting, these modules are working with the GPU. They have more advantages. So you have seen that the accuracy is pretty high, and there is a search function for the facial recognition complete. And a unique visitor counting, so that's not a facial recognition module, it's more for the statistics, but it has the same engine as the complete module. If you need to use these two modules at the same time, that's possible. You can enable facial recognition complete and unique visitor counting on one camera, and the advantage of this combination that the load will be still the same because the engine is absolutely the same. So you have the load from one module, but you have the metadata from two modules at the same time. Yes, so I think that's all right now that I wanted to show you. So let me check the chat. What about thermal camera integration and report? So right now, so we have already working with some thermal cameras, infrared cameras or thermal cameras, and we just receive the video stream. We can record it and nothing else. If you're speaking about the thermal cameras that are showing the temperature of the person or some other objects, right now with this situation with the virus, we are integrating new devices by request. So if you have a request to integrate a thermal camera, we are doing that development. Right now we have some concepts with the combination of facial recognition and the thermal evaluation. So we can get the identification of the person and also see the info about his temperature. So if you need, you can contact your manager and do a request for the integration of the thermal camera, because we are really now focused on that and do it really fast. Next question: if using ultra and on-camera recording with face detection, will it pick up the faces when the data is synced to the server? Well, so if we have an ultra server with the connected camera, and this camera has its own storage for the recording, and anyway, if we need to use the analytics on the Eocortex, then we use it on the server side. So we just receive the video stream from the camera, recognize the face on the server and record the archive on the server. So the metadata in the archive have to be stored in one storage, so on the server. It can be network storage, it can be local, but still on the server. If we have a camera that can detect faces, we can receive the video stream from that camera, but we can't synchronize the database of the faces from the camera and from the server without using REST API, for example. So that's a conflict of interest because we are providing the solution which is server-based. That's why we are not limited about the cameras and so on. So we do it on the server. Next, is it possible to export the facial recognition details like name, time, and date? Yeah, so as I said, you can receive a report. You can create a report and then download it. And also, there is another nice feature that for the facial recognition, you can receive the reports automatically. So let me just briefly show it to you. I will also show it you once again during the future webinar in Friday, but let's also take a look on that right now. So we can create scheduled tasks. So let's add a task face, it's Russian, face report. Next. Here we configure the schedule like repeat by month, all month first day at 9 AM. Next, and here we select an action. So let's select send report by email. So we select here an email that will be used, the email of the recipient, of course, and the type of the report. So for example, facial recognition complete, and the time for what it will be sent. For example, for 24 hours and so on. And also the option of the format, so table or CSV. In this case, you will receive these reports automatically, so you don't need to work even with Eocortex if you just want to receive a report from this module. So it will be sent via email automatically, so you just create a schedule it, and this action will be done. So any other questions? Because as I said, that's all that I wanted to show you about the module. So that was, I think, the shortest webinar between others. Yeah, I appreciate your questions, so thanks for them. So I will wait for a couple of minutes for more your questions, if you have them. I will stop the screen sharing right now for a while. Nice. You're welcome. Also, I just enabled my webcam, so you can see how pre-sale engineer from Eocortex lives. So that's my apartment. Yeah, so as I said, so all the recordings will be sent via email, and see you in Friday. So there will be a webinar about the automation. And also, yeah, I remember that I wanted to show you another link. Another link for another webinar. So there will be a webinar today I need to check the time, but today there will be also a very interesting webinar that won't be about some concrete modules, but it will be with the head of our development team and also with our product manager. So I sent the link for this webinar in the chat section, so you can take it. And if you have any questions to our product manager, and yeah, it will be in 1 hour. If you have any questions to our product manager or to our development team about the algorithms of some modules, I think that you can receive the answers for the questions today in 1 hour. And I received a couple of questions also. So do you have any architecture of network diagram from multiple servers with NAS? Unfortunately, or not, we send these diagrams mostly by request. So please ask your manager for that. I think we will send you with your manager this architecture scheme. So it won't be really difficult, because usually it's pretty simple. We have several servers, we have several storages, local or network, and so on. So yeah, that's not a problem. Then can I send you a mail with a question about the views? I have a question, but we'll send a picture of it. Okay, yeah, why not? Let me also send you my email right here. So that's my last name at eocortex.com. So here it is. You can write me about the questions about the scheme with the NAS, and also about these views. So yeah, why not? We'll discuss that questions also via email. Okay, if you don't have any other questions, I think that we can end our today webinar, and see you in Friday. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for your time. Bye.